balancing priorities in a turbulent economy. As the ruble's value plummeted and the Russian economy faced an uncertain future, a stark reality emerged. The Kremlin's unchecked spending on military endeavors and social welfare programs had reached a critical juncture, though economic collapse wasn't imminent. Experts recognized that the time had come to reassess the trade-offs between funding the war in Ukraine, enduring relentless sanctions, and maintaining pre-war levels of public spending. Alexei Eremenko, associate director at consultancy Control Risks, emphasized the structural predicament underlying Russia's economic challenges. The nation's prodigious spending on warfare and extravagant imports hindered any substantial improvement in the ruble's value. The question loomed large. Was it time for the Kremlin to either reduce military expenditures significantly or accept the toll on public welfare? As the ruble continued its descent, breaching the psychological threshold of 100 to the dollar, Russia's central bank responded by raising interest rates to 12.2, signaling a shift in financial strategy. Behind closed doors, discussions took place to consider informal capital controls, potentially requiring companies to convert more export revenues into rubles. The very foundations of Russia's economic policies were under scrutiny. Amidst this complex financial dance, the looming shadow of a re-election bid for Vladimir Putin hung over the Kremlin. Traditionally, lavish public spending accompanied presidential elections to ensure a fervent turnout of supporters. Yet, insiders whispered of a different approach this time around, one where the Kremlin might navigate a faltering economy, emboldened by the belief that the populace had embraced the prospect of a prolonged war and international isolation. The resolve of Russia's regime lay not in democratic principles, but in its capacity to weather economic storms. As a former senior Russian official pointed out, this was no democracy where economic downturns led to electoral shifts. The regime was equipped to survive, even as citizens were asked to tighten their belts, embracing austerity in the face of adversity. China's lifeline and the Eastern pivot. Amidst the turbulence, a group of nations extended a lifeline to Russia, countries that hadn't imposed sanctions and were providing essential goods and services. Chief among them was China, a strategic partner that stepped in to fill the void left by Western technology. From consumer goods to industrial tools, China facilitated Russia's access to the essentials it needed to navigate international sanctions. China's robust trade relationship with Russia marked a bright spot for both nations. Total trade surged over 30 in 2022, and the upward trajectory continued in 2023. This collaboration held particular significance for China, facing its own economic challenges. Russia's embrace of Chinese technology and goods offered a silver lining, a market for Chinese manufacturers in a global landscape fraught with uncertainties. The eastward shift was evident not only in trade, but in energy dynamics. With Western markets closing their doors, Russia pivoted its oil and gas flows towards the east, primarily to China and India. The International Energy Agency highlighted this redirection, reflecting a trend of dependency on Eastern markets. China's foothold in Russia's economy deepened, fueled not only by economic interdependence, but also by geopolitical realities. The US-China tech war played a role, pushing Chinese companies to seek opportunities in Russia where restrictions on high-tech exports to China were less constraining. The commercial appeal of Russian investments grew as Chinese businesses sought alternatives in a world of shifting alliances. Evading sanctions, sustaining the economy, navigating the labyrinth of sanctions and economic constraints, Russia ingeniously sought alternative routes for imports. The Russian Customs Agency's internal data revealed a revival of imports, supporting industries and priorities crucial to the nation's resilience. However, this lifeline came at a cost. The influx of foreign currency driving the ruble's decline. Vizca, an independent news outlet, illuminated the concept of a sanctions hole, where goods from semiconductors to airplane parts infiltrated Russia through intricate routes involving China, Turkey, the UAE, and former Soviet republics. These goods sustained Russia's progress, enabling the economy to inch forward even amidst challenges. The war effort too thrived on cunning maneuvers, as microchips and technology flowed into Russia through intermediaries. A dance of supply chains and loopholes allowed Russian industries to persevere, procuring components vital for the conflict. The resilience displayed in such efforts reflected Russia's determination to persist regardless of external pressures. Ultimately, Russia's resilience in the face of sanctions showcased its resourcefulness and adaptability. The playbook of evading sanctions had been perfected, a strategy refined through years of experience. As the nation forged ahead, even the most complex web of restrictions couldn't entirely halt its progress, embodying the spirit of endurance that defined Russia's approach to a changing global landscape.